Pranam everybody and Hare Krishna Vinod ji.
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा।
आज हमारा 29 सेशन है
हाँ
और आप हमारे साथ 2 साल से भी ज्यादा से जुड़े हुए हैं।
हाँ, आप सभी लोगों का साथ बहुत अच्छा है।
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
आप लोगों के कारण मुझे प्रोत्साहन मिलते रहता है।
म्यूचुअल है ये। हम
अरे
हमें आपका प्रोत्साहन और आपको हमारा। अ,
यस।
शकुंतला, आई थिंक वी कैन स्टार्ट।
Yeah.
चलिए।
Narayanam,
नारायणम।
all of you can repeat
अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
after. हाँ, बाकी लोग भी कर सकते हैं अनम्यूट
कर
कर।
लीजिए सब लोग सो वी कैन रिपीट।
नारायणम
नारायणम
नारायणं
नमस्कृत्य
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 नरम
नरम
नरं
चैव
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 नरोत्तमं
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 देवीं
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 सरस्वतीं
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 व्यासं
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 ततो
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 तो
जयं
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 उदीरयेत्।
धीरये।
उदीरयेत्।
आप लोग में से कोई इंग्लिश बोल सकता है ट्रांसलेशन?
Okay. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance onto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, onto Nar Narayana, Rishi, the supermost human being, onto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and onto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Yes. Thank you. Now, who remembers where we stopped our previous session few months ago?
Yeah.
After that, we had some
Shakuntala will
couple of sessions on Ayurveda.
Yes.
Shakuntala, because वो notes लिखती है.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in our last session, that was our session 28, we were discussing that Lord Ganesha, because that was near Ganesh Chaturthi. So Lord Ganesha wrote Mahabharat.
Hmm.
Rishi Vedvyas was dictating and Lord Ganesha was writing. So
Hmm.
Mahabharat was written in 10 days. Just in 10 days, 1 lakh shloks.
Hmm.
1 lakh. Okay.
Hmm.
And we also discussed Shukracharya. And initially we started with that, the discussion going on between Matre Muni and Vidur.
Correct.
Vidura is asking the question from Matre Muni. So Matre Muni thanked Vidur for asking certain questions.
Hmm.
Okay. And then we also discussed about Shukracharya and the Bali Maharaj
Ramanadevi,
story.
yeah.
And one interesting fact about astrology was also given, that in the Vaman avatar, when उन्होंने शुक्राचार्य की आंख में वो लगा दिया था, तो शुक्राचार्य हैज जस्ट 1 आई। तो उन्होंने फिर भगवान ने उनको ये वरदान दिया था कि ओके, आप नाराज मत हो, नेक्स्ट मेरा बर्थ आपकी जन्म राशि, आपकी राशि में होगा। सो लॉर्ड कृष्णा वाज बोर्न इन वृषभ राशि, विच इज टॉरस, विच इज अगेन
Correct.
रूल्ड बाय वीनस, दैट इज
Correct.
शुक्राचार्य। सो एक इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट था पिछले वाले क्लास में, और
हाँ.
बाकी गणेश जी ने इसको बहुत खूबसूरती से लिखा, और अब हम आपसे उतनी खूबसूरती से सुन रहे हैं।
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing.
हाँ,
Now, recently we had a Kumbh Mela in India,
yeah.
right? How many of you went there? Did some of you went there? Did some of you go?
Many, everyone. See, I couldn't go, but every second person in Jaipur, more than 50% people were there.
Okay.
Every
हमारे
second person.
विनोद जी, हमारे ग्रुप में से भी बहुत लोग गए थे.
बहुत
Very good.
बहुत लोग गए,
Very good. Very
जिससे
good.
पूछ रहे हैं सब। और मुझे पता है विनोद जी तो खुद बहुत ही मेन डे, बिल्कुल ऑस्पिशियस डे वाले दिन जाके आए हैं,
हाँ, मौनी अमावस्या के दिन.
मौनी में।
I had the luxury of being there.
वेरी गुड।
हाँ. So, just very briefly, I will tell you, it is in continuation with the subject of Vamanadev. Vamanadev appeared and he went to ask for 3 steps of land from Bali Maharaj. Correct? So now, when this Kumbh Mela started, millions and millions of people visited there, right? So many people were complaining that the water has become dirty and all that. So should not go there. They were trying to discourage people from going there. But people did not bother by those kind of remarks. And some scientists collected the samples of water from very filthiest place, very dirty places. They collected the water and then sample. And when they checked in the laboratory, they could not find any bacteria in that. This has happened before also. In one of the previous sessions, I mentioned to you about this. This is the potency of Ganga water, Ganges water. Now, why that Ganga water is so potent? Because it is not in this coming from this material world. It is coming from the spiritual world. Does anyone remember how Ganga water came to the earth planet?
You told about Vishnu भगवान के चरण से आ रही, बैकुंठ से आ रही.
Yes. So when Vamanadev went to the arena of the Yagna to Bali Maharaj's place, so he asked for 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj did the sankalpa, told him that I promise you that I'll give you 3 steps of land. So after Bali Maharaj promised him, Vamanadev increased his size, his physical size. So Bali Maharaj could not see Vamanadev's face. It was so high in the sky. So in one step, in the first step, Vamanadev measured the whole earth planet. Second step, he measured all the upper planetary system up to the Mahat Tattva. Some of you may recall what I'm going to discuss with you now, share with you. See, each one of us, we have aura around us, right? Which protects us, which works as a shield, which protects us from the negative energy, negative vibrations of people or the surroundings around us. Similarly, each planet has its aura. Like Earth planet, that aura is called ozone layer, right? It protects the creatures on the Earth planet from the strong radiation or the strong influence of the sun rays, UV rays, correct? So similarly, there is a layer which covers the whole material creation. And that is called Mahat Tattva. That is in a liquid form. So that's like a kind of a barrier, or you can say bridge also, between the spiritual world and the material world. So when Vamanadev extended his leg all the way up to the Mahat Tattva, so his left big toe pierced the hole in that Mahat Tattva, in the layer of Mahat Tattva, that water. So that water fell from that Mahat Tattva, and Brahmaji, he collected that water in his Kavandulu. And he kept it there in Brahmaloka. So later on, when King Sagar's 60,000 sons were killed by the curse of a sage, so he was advised to get Ganga water to the earth planet. And when Ganga water touches the ashes of his 60,000 sons, they will get liberated. So few generations of Sagar King Sagar, few generations they did austerity, and finally Bhagirath, he succeeded in convincing Mother Ganga to come to the earth planet. And that part we know that, that because Ganga told him that, if I come down with force, the layer of the earth, the crust of the earth is not so strong that it can sustain the force. Then I will go to the lower planetary system. So the purpose will not be served. So then they requested, demigods also requested Lord Shiva to allow Ganga to land on his head. So Ganga landed on the head of Lord Shiva. So because this water is coming from the spiritual world, it is not from the material world. That's why the potency is like that. No matter how long we keep it, how many years we keep it, it is not spoiled. Normally, water cannot be kept for more than few days. After that, it gets a foam and it is not drinkable anymore. And normally water, especially if it is stored in the plastic bottle, it is even worse But Ganga water is very unique. Whether one stores in the glass bottle or plastic bottle, still it remains the same. The quality-wise, potency-wise is the same. So this is a unique feature of Ganga. So now we will continue today. Before we go ahead, I just want to ask you for forgiveness, of your forgiveness, that because I'm having that fever, I had very high fever in the evening. My wife actually told me to send message to Shakuntala ji to cancel. So I said, no, it is happening after a long time. So I had some cough also at that time. And then I had took some homeopathic remedy. That remedy, actually, it is called fever killer. So I took that and I covered my body with the blanket, as perspired, and then the fever is gone. So in case I start coughing, just please bear with me. So coming back to this part, now today we will discuss from the third canto still, the 13th chapter. Now the creation part is starting. Before this chapter, few chapters, there are many technical points. If we go into details, it will take very long time. Those are very technical points. The measurements of the time in different planetary system and all that, the lifespan of Brahma, like that, lifespan of Manvantaras, those kind of things. So Brahma is the first created being who appeared on the lotus flower, which sprouted from the navel of Lord Vishnu. Correct? So when Lord Brahma found himself on a lotus flower, so he could not understand, who is he, why was he there, and what is his purpose of life and all that. So he went up and down on the stem of the lotus flower, but he could not find the end of the lotus flower. Then he sat. So he heard the sound in the water because it was in the ocean. So he heard the sound from the waves of the ocean. Tap, tap, tap. That means do austerity. So Brahma did the austerity, tapasya. So when he did tapasya for millions of years, he did tapasya. So then Lord Vishnu, he revealed 4 shlokas of Srimad Bhagvatam in Brahma's heart. It's called Chaturshloki Bhagavad. So when Lord Brahma meditated on the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, he became very interested to do more meditation. Now, when he did more meditation, after that, first thing he created. Now, see, from this, we can learn when anybody, for that matter, starts following any spiritual path. I'm saying general, the general tendencies people have. Most of you might have experienced that. When you start doing spiritual activities, devotional service, initially we experience so many bad thoughts come up on the surface of our mind. So in Brahma's case also, it happens same. Frustration, anger, deception, these kind of things he created. Brahma created these things. Illusion, false ego, forgetfulness of the true identity of the living beings. So these kind of negative things were created first by Brahma. So, we should not get disheartened. We should not be puzzled or amazed when we see that, when we are doing some devotional service, some spiritual practice, so many negative thoughts bother us. So that's a cleansing process. When the cleansing process is happening, so whatever is accumulated in our heart, those dirty things, unwanted things, will come up on the surface. So we should just observe these things as a witness. We should not dwell on those things. We should not try to control our mind. That's the best thing we can learn from Lord Brahma. Brahma did not try to control his mind. So after these negative qualities were created by Brahma, then first living beings Brahma created from his mind, Manasaputra, Shaunaka Adi, 4 rishis, 4 Kumaras. They are called 4 Kumaras. So when Brahma created them and Brahma wanted to increase the progeny, because this was the instruction given by Lord Vishnu to him to increase the population. So he told his sons to get married and increase the population. So his sons, they refused immediately. Outright, they refused. They said no, they did not want to enter into the Grihastha ashram. They did not want to make themselves entangled in the materialistic activities. They wanted to renounce the world and meditate on the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So when now this is happening all in Satya Yuga. Now you can imagine, in Satya Yuga also, the sons, they were not obeying the order from their father. So Brahma became very angry. So he controlled his anger. He did not express his anger because, after all, he said, these are four sons, his sons only. So why should get angry unnecessarily? But he frowned. When he frowned, so much tension was created between his eyebrows. And from that part, Rudra appeared, Lord Shiva's expansion. So when he appeared, his color was mixture of red and blue. Blue is a kind of mode of passion and goodness also, and red, of course, mode of passion and ignorance. And immediately started crying. Because of Rudran, because of crying, Brahma gave him the name Rudra, and he pacified him. So Rudra asked him, "Where can I stay? Provide some space for me." So Brahma ordered him to expand himself. So Rudra expanded himself in 11 different forms. And Brahma arranged Shakti, Swarupa, 11 different forms of Ma Durga to get married to Lord Shiva, Rudra. And then Lord Shiva increased the population. So in case of Lord Shiva also, 11 forms, 11 wives, then thousands of children he produced. And all these children, they were deformed. They were very demoniac and very ghostly features they had. So Brahma told him, I don't want this kind of progeny because these people, they are in mode of ignorance and they are actually attacking me also. In one of the purports, long time ago, I read in the Bhagvatam. So this progeny, which was created by Rudra, different forms of Rudra, 11 different forms, they attacked Brahma, not to fight with him, not to kill him, but to enjoy physically with him. Because Brahma was looking so beautiful. So they was quite captivated, quite attracted to Lord Brahma's beauty. So they wanted to essentially enjoy with Lord Brahma. So there in the purport it is mentioned, that in Kali Yuga also we find this kind of people who have this kind of tendency. So in the purport it is mentioned, no offense to anyone, in the purport it is mentioned, that people who have this kind of tendencies, who get attracted towards same sexual people, same kind of sexual identity of the people, such people are demoniac. They are, even though they may be in the human form of life, they may have many good qualities, but basically they are like demons, like ghostly people. Yeah, so Lord Shiva, then he followed Lord Brahma's order. Then he started creating a nice progeny. And after this, the explanation is given about 4 Kumaras. Why were they able to disobey the order of Lord Brahma, the instruction of Lord Brahma, without getting reaction? Normally, if children, they don't obey their parents, their elders, it is considered as an offense. And for offense, some penalty is there. But Kumaras, they were spared from that penalty because their goal was higher. They were controlling their energy. They moved their energy from going downwards to upwards. Urdhva Vreta. In Ayurveda also it is mentioned, people who reverse the flow of their energy, they are called Urdhva. So these 4 Kumaras, they were like that. And because of that, they were able to understand the importance, the significance of meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, not getting entangled in the material activities. Because material activities, no matter, how much satisfaction initially we get, how much pleasure we get, but these satisfaction, so-called satisfaction and pleasure is temporary, right? In the material world, whatever we enjoy through our senses, through our sense organs, sense objects we enjoy, actually, initially, we get the feeling of enjoyment. We experience enjoyment. But if we keep on continuously doing the same activity, The same activity which gives us satisfaction or pleasure in the beginning, that same activity can become the cause of misery. Has anyone experienced that? Please share. Yes or no? When I tell you to share, if you want to share, please unmute yourself and you can share.
Yeah, suppose you like a particular movie, you can watch it once, twice, but if you watch it 10 times, you'll get bored.
Correct. Correct. And similarly, food. When we are hungry, we may get some dish, which is very good, delicious dish. But if we keep on eating, then eventually we have to stop. And if someone forces us to eat, we feel very upset with that person. Why are you forcing me to eat? I'm enough. I'm done. So this is called the law of diminishing marginal utility. In economics, it is called the law of diminishing marginal utility. So when we are hungry, we eat something. The first mouthful gives us satisfaction. The second gives satisfaction, but less than the first one. So in that way, each subsequent mouthful will give us less and less satisfaction. So the diminishing marginal utility, the satisfaction keeps on reducing. But when it comes to the spiritual activities, it keeps on increasing. Eternal. Right? It is Navanita. It's always new. One of the names of Lord Krishna is Navanit. He's always new, always young. You will never see any deity or any picture of Krishna where he looks very old, having long white beard, long hair, white hair, holding a stick in his hand. Right? Krishna is always youthful. So because of that quality, they knew the significance. So they were not, they did not have to go through any penalty. Now here I want to share with you something very important. Some of you may be familiar with this, what I'm going to discuss with you now, share with you. First, I want to ask you, do you know how many nadis we have in our body? How many energy channels? Some of you may be doing the energy healing work, Reiki or something like that.
72,000.
Sorry?
72,000.
72,000 are the main nadis, main energy channels.
But they're infinite nadis, I'm sure.
Sorry?
मैंने कहा कि infinite nadis होगी, बहुत सारी होगी.
In the yogic literature, exact number of the nadis is given. Exact number.
Okay.
You'll be surprised to hear how precise number is given. 7,272,210.
Please repeat. 7 million.
7,272,210. 72,72,210. So out of this, what Shakuntala ji, you said, 72,000 are very significant. And out of 72,000, 14 are very important. Out of 14, 10. And out of 10, 3 nadis. Ida, Pingla, and Sushumna. Correct? So generally, in our case, common people's case, these nadis, the energy flows through these nadis downward, always downward. Because our attention is always outwards towards the sense objects. So when we see the sense objects, then the desire pops up in our heart to enjoy that sense object through the sense organs. So we engage in acquiring those sense objects. So the sense organs, they get kind of occupied in allowing us to enjoy, so-called enjoyment. And the senses, all the energy from these nadis to the nadis, they flow towards the senses. And when the flow is flowing, the energy flow is going downward towards the senses and the sense organs, we feel very depleted. And the mind becomes very uncontrolled. Then the mind is dragged here and there by different senses towards different sense objects to acquire different sense objects. So now, in the scriptures and particularly in the yogic literature, simple technique is mentioned how to check the flow, downward flow, and how to reverse it so that we can conserve the energy. And that energy which we conserve, that can help us to evolve spiritually, understand the philosophy in a much better way at the deeper level. Not only understand, we can digest it and then we can assimilate it, then we can act according to that. We can implement that knowledge in our life practically when that energy is conserved, because it will help us to enhance our willpower. Many times what happens, we may have the desire to control and all that, but because our willpower is very weak, we are not able to do it. So please make a note of this. Now, this exercise is done in the standing position. It's called Namaskar pose, Namaskar asana. Just joining your palms, you bring your hands to the chest. Now, the pressure is to be put on the heart chakra, in the middle of the chest. Now, to measure the proper distance between the throat chakra and the heart chakra, we have to bring the tips of the thumbs to the throat chakra, like this. And then place the hands here, the palms together here. And then keep the thumbs and fingers together. When you do this posture, keeping your eyes closed, you have to continuously, very firmly, not too much, but very firm pressure on the heart chakra from the base of your thumbs, base of your thumb bones. So when you do this in the standing position, you will notice that initially, keeping your feet together, initially your body will sway, sideways, back and forth. But if you keep on doing it, keeping your eyes closed, keep on putting the pressure, the downward flow of the nadis will be checked. The mind will be brought under the control of the will. Then your body will remain still. It will not move at all. This, I have taught this to many of my clients, and I have heard from them. They share their experience, what they feel, especially students, when they want to study, they cannot focus. When they do this exercise for 5 minutes after that they study, they can grasp the subject matter quite easily, quite fast. And people who have sleeping disorder, if they do this posture before going to bed, they can sleep well, because the subconscious mind also is brought under control. When the subconscious mind is restless, people cannot sleep well. The quality of sleep is affected. And very important thing is that you can experiment on yourself tonight if you want to. You do this posture, and 3 times you repeat what particular time you want to get up in the morning. And if you have done this exercise properly, correctly, your eyes will open at that time without alarm ringing. So see, these things, they are very nicely explained in our scriptures. And all our scriptures, we talk about Bhagvatam, Ramayana, Upanishads, other Puranas, and the Yoga Shastra, Ayurveda. They are quite interconnected. The information given in different scriptures may be different, but it is not contradictory. It's supplementary, complementary. So wherever is possible, from wherever we get the information, we should try to utilize it. So try to do this exercise, Namaskar pose. It will help you to check the downward flow of your nadis, and then your mind can be quite peaceful. Yeah. See the Namaskar, even, just joining the palms like that. The significance is mentioned in our scriptures that people who are angry, who get angry, and they are angry at that time, if they join the palms, the anger will go away. Anger will leave them. You can try yourself, when you're angry, when you want to shout at someone, you join your palms, you will not be able to shout at that person. Even if you have a desire to shout at that person, you will not be able to shout, because it will bring your mind completely, it will make your mind very subtle. So simple Namaskar pose, there's so many benefits.
So Vinod ji, you said कि नमस्कार पोज में आप इंटेंशन डाले कि मुझे सुबह इतने बजे उठना है,
हाँ,
right? And
yes,
then, so for how long do you think the pose should be maintained?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. And
And
in
you
the,
repeat that time 3 times.
and repeat the intention 3 times. Okay.
Yeah. Number 3 is very significant in our scriptures.
Can I
Very
ask
auspicious number.
something, please?
You want to say
Reena,
anything, Reena ji?
पूछना है आपको?
हाँ जी, हाँ
हाँ.
जी, जो आप when you are saying that fold your hands, so put a pressure, so would that, so that is that pressure okay, because that pressure is going to your neck and shoulders as well, or you apply minimum pressure just to press your hands enough?
Yeah, the firm pressure should be coming only from the base of your thumbs. If you're
Okay.
not focusing on your wrists, on your elbows, your shoulders, then you won't feel any pressure on those parts of the body, only on the chest.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So it looks very simple, but it has to be done in a correct way to get the benefits.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question anybody has?
So this will make the flow upwards?
Yes. Because when you put the pressure, the nadis, the downward flow is checked. So then it will start going upwards. Yeah. And then it improves the functioning of the brain. The intellectual development also is possible because of that.
So
So
Vinod
people,
ji, the
yes.
pressure that is put on the Vishuddha and the heart chakra both?
No, only on the heart chakra.
Only on the heart chakra. Okay.
The Vishuddha chakra, I said, just to measure the right position where the
Okay.
hand should be kept. Then you just bring the thumbs to the Vishuddha chakra and then you keep together.
Okay.
Yeah. So this, a very simple exercise. In Hong Kong, I come across quite a few teenagers, modern doctors tell them they have ADD problem or ADHD problem. Have you heard of these problems? So to such children also, I tell them to do this and it helps them a lot. There is no need to take any kind of medication for that.
Do we have a
Right?
name for this?
Sorry?
Do we have a name for this?
Namaskar.
Namaskar pose.
All right. Okay. Simple namaskar pose. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Namaskar asana. Yeah. Yeah. So because these 4 Kumaras, they were able to do that, and that's why, they became much, much older. The lifespan is quite long. Many cycles of 4 yugas they survive. But still, because of that Urdhva nature, the energy flowing upwards, they look like small 5-year-old children. All 4 of them. They don't grow old. Physically, they look the same. So these are called first sons of Lord Brahma. And because they did not obey Lord Brahma, then Brahma got angry. Then Lord Shiva came, Rudra came, appeared from in between the eyebrows of Lord Brahma. In one of the previous sessions, I had mentioned to you about who is original Lord Shiva.
Please repeat the question.
Who is original? Who is the original? But which is the original form of Lord Shiva? Just put it that way. There are 3 different forms of Lord Vishnu, right? If someone remembers. Karanadaksha Vishnu, who lies in the causal ocean, in the big serpent, and from his skin pores, millions and millions of universes are coming out. So that is Karanadaksha Vishnu. Then the second one is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, who comes in each universe. Then Shirodaksha Vishnu, who appears in each one's heart. So sometimes the Vishnu form expansion, which is in everybody's heart, that also is called Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Shirodaksha Vishnu means, who lies in the ocean of milk. Shir means milk, right? Where the demigods, they go and pray to him when there are many calamities happening on the earth planet, and the demons, they create havoc. They torture people. So to rescue human beings and protect themselves, demigods, they go at the shore of Shira Sagara and they pray to Lord Vishnu. And then Lord Vishnu, the celestial sound appears, and Lord Vishnu says, I will come, appear on the earth planet in this form, and I will kill all the demons. Right? So these are the three different forms of Lord Vishnu.
So Vinodji, if you can just say each form and what is its significance. Like जैसे कि होता है ना कि you pray to Vishnu, तो आपको कौन से form को क्यों pray करना चाहिए? Because if there are three forms, then each form will be having a specific reason to pray to. Correct
Yes,
ना?
yes,
तो
yes.
अगर आप तीनों को अच्छी तरह से समझा सके and why we should pray to which form and when.
Correct. Now, very good question you asked. See, because we are in the material world, in Mrityu Loka, what to speak of us? Even the demigods who are in the Swarga Loka, they also go and pray to Lord Vishnu in the form of Kshirasagara, Shirodakshay Vishnu. So we also should pray to him, Shirodakshay Vishnu, who is lying on the Ananta Shesh, Narayana, in the ocean of milk. Now, why is he called Narayana? Why? This also I shared with you quite some time ago in one of the sessions. What's the meaning of Narayana? One of the names of Lord Vishnu is Narayana. Why is he called Narayana? Anyone? Anyone remembers?
Don't.
नारम अयनम यस्य सः नारायण.
Sorry?
नारम अयनम यस्य सः नारायण.
Correct. So what does it mean?
The one, there are many meanings. One I remember is the one who is ruling over the senses, or the one who is passing through. Literally, it means Nara means water, and the one who is passing or sit or
Ayana.
remain.
Ayana means who is lying down.
Yes.
Who is lying down on the liquid, on the water. Nara means, the liquid water.
Yes.
In some places in India, they call neer. They don't say jal or pani. They say neer. So that is the liquid part of the substance. The milk also is in liquid form. So because it is lying down on the liquid, on the Ananda Shesh, Shayana, Ayana, right? So because of that, is called Nara Ayana. So that's the meaning of Narayana, right? Thank you, Srijaji, for sharing. Now coming back to four Kumaras. Before that, what I was asking you, Lord Shiva. Who is the original Lord Shiva? Before that, before we come to the discussion of four Kumaras, let's finish this one first. What's the original form of Shambhu, Shiva? So I was telling you that Karana Dakshay Vishnu, casual ocean, he is the Sarva Karana Karanam, cause of all causes. That Karana Dakshay Vishnu or Mahavishnu, they call him Mahavishnu. So when he wants to create the progeny in the material world, he himself does not come directly in contact with Shakti. He just glances at the material energy, Shakti. So his glance personified is Lord Shiva. That's original Shambhu. And then in each universe, the Shambhu comes in the form of Rudra, from in between the eyebrows of, like in this universe, it came from in between the eyebrows of Lord Brahma. Other universes may be in different way. So, like Lord Vishnu expands himself, then comes into each universe, and each person's heart as Paramatma. So, same way, Shambhu also expands himself, and he appears in the different forms. Like in this universe, he appeared as Rudra, because he started crying immediately when he appeared. Now it is said, very interesting point, it is said, though of course, whenever somebody is born, the person always cries, right? Nobody laughs when the person is born. So Lord Shiva also was crying. But it is said Lord Shiva is the one, if someone worships him sincerely and pleases him, Lord Shiva will take away the sorrows from that person's life. The person doesn't have to cry. Lord Shiva can help that person to stop crying. This is Lord Shiva's blessings. And Lord Shiva, though he is empowered by Lord Vishnu to provide all the material facilities for the living beings in the material world, but he himself does not possess anything. Where does Lord Shiva live?
Kailash Parvat.
Kailash Parvat, right? In a cave, right?
Yes.
Not a big palace or something like that. This incident also I shared with you in one of the sessions. Once Mother Parvati complained to Lord Shiva, you are giving so much of opulence to your devotees. They have big houses, big cars, so much of material opulence. But, I'm your wife. I also need a proper shade, proper shelter, proper house to live in. You do meditation and all that, so you can tolerate the cold in the Himalayas, Kailash mountain. But I'm a woman, sometimes I feel the effect of the cold. So I need proper protection, proper house. So Lord Shiva, he instructed his dear devotee Kubera to construct not only one palace, but palaces and a big city. So Kubera constructed a big city called Lanka. All the palaces in Lanka, they were made of gold. And so many gemstones, more pearls, diamonds, they were in the pillars, studded in the pillars, right? So when everything was, the whole city of Lanka was created, so Lord Shiva, he said, now we need to do the Graha Pravesh Puja, Graha Pravesh Havan. So do you know who they call to do Graha Pravesh Havan? Which Pandit did they call?
Ravana.
Ravana.
Ravana, yes. They called Ravana. And what Ravana did?
Ravana do the all Vastu for Shiva, and the Havan, Bhumi Pujan Havan, and after the Greh Parvesh Puja.
Yes. Yes. The Vastu part was taken care of by Vishwakarma and Kubera. But Ravana mainly he did the Havan, Graha Pravesh Havan, right? So after the Havan was over, so Lord Shiva asked him, what do you want as a Dakshina? You are a Brahmana. So until I give you any Dakshina, I will not be benefited. So Ravana asked for Lanka. So back to square one. So Lord Shiva laughed at Mother Parvati, looked at her and laughed. He said, now we have to go back to Himalayas. Now this whole Lanka now belongs to Ravana. We cannot say no to a Brahmana because he did Dhavan, so he has to be given some Dakshina. So now he wants Lanka, so we just give it. So again, they went back to Kailash mountain. So this is, that means you need to understand that Karana Dakshai Vishnu, Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, and Shiro Dakshai Vishnu. Three main forms of Lord Vishnu. And then Lord Shiva, main is Shambhu, who is the personified form of Mahavishnu's glance, vision. That vision came in contact with Durga, and then the progeny was produced in the material world. Different species of life were produced. And then in each universe, Lord Shiva, that Shambhu also comes in the expanded form. As I said, in this universe, he came as Rudra. Other universes, maybe he made a different name. But original in the spiritual world, between the spiritual world and the material world, the glance personified of Mahavishnu is Shambhu, Shiva Shambhu, or they say Sada Shiva also. Right? Any question here? Or any comment? Yes, no?
अभी तो इसको एब्जॉर्ब करने में टाइम लगेगा.
Ah. Okay, so now we come back to discuss a little bit more about four Kumaras.
Sir, may I have may I ask you one thing?
Yeah,
Do
sure,
these
sure, go ahead.
different names of Lord Shiva in different contexts, do they have different meanings, and do they
Yes,
have
yes.
significance? What is the significance of different meanings, and which is the apt one, or which is for the human beings in this time?
Yes.
Which
Very, very good question. Very relevant question you asked. If you read this third chapter of third canto of Srimad Bhagvatam, the 11 different forms of Rudra, the names are given. And the names of 11 wives also are given in the text. So please read. I would encourage everybody, to keep on reading from Bhagavatam. If you can read before we start the session, then it can be more useful. That means it can be more interactive, or at least after we finish the session, whatever topics we discuss, you can read those, so it can stay in your memory for a long time.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So the common information that we hear about Shiva is that he is not born. There is no source of his birth, or but
Yeah,
you
he was
say
not
that
born.
he was.
Yeah.
So what is the how do I understand the concept of him being born from a gaze?
Yeah, very good point. Very good question. See, now these things, as I said earlier, these things happen in Satya Yuga, right?
Right.
Now, what to speak of Satya Yuga, even in the previous Dwapur Yuga, you know how these Pandavas were born? Does anyone know how Pandavas were born? 5 brothers?
I know the 100 brothers
Yes,
sounds
with the
like one of
mantra.
those
Those 100 brothers were Kauravas.
Kauravas. Yeah, those were like
Uh,
IVF of today.
Yeah. Can you
Right.
share what you know about them? Can you share how were they born?
I know, sir. Pandava is कुंती ने कुंती ने एक बार कुंती को किसी ऋषि ने कोई मंत्र दिया था, जिससे वो मंत्र का उच्चारण करके किसी भी देवता का आवाहन कर सकती थी, और उन देवता के द्वारा उनको वो अपना मनचाहा शिशु प्राप्त कर सकती थी।
Correct.
इसी तरीके से 6 पुत्रों का उनको प्राप्ति हुई थी। 6
Correct.
पुत्र में से करण भी एक पुत्र है जो सूर्य पुत्र हुए।
Absolutely correct. Yes.
सर
Yes.
मुझे ये मालूम।
Yeah. So see now, that mantra was given by Durvasa Muni, Mother Kunti, because Mother Kunti, she served Durvasa Muni when Durvasa Muni visited the palace of Mother Kunti's father. So Kunti served him very well. So he was very pleased. So he told Kunti what kind of blessing, what kind of boon she wants. So Kunti said, you are Tirkal Drishi. You can see past, present, and future. So you can see my future also. So whatever will be useful for me, so please, you keeping that in mind, you give me the blessing. So Durvasa Muni gave her the mantra to control any demigod. Not only control any demigod, but that demigod will come towards Kunti, visit Kunti, because of the effect of potency of the mantra, and will give her a child, a son. So Kunti, because she was quite young at that time, very innocent. So she was thinking, how can that mantra be so powerful? Can bring the demigod from the heavenly planets to the earth planet, and the demigod will give me a son. So when she saw in the sky, looked at the sun, so she thought of, why don't I try meditating on the sun planet, on the sun god, Surya Dev, after chanting the mantra. So she did that, and Surya Dev came. So she got very frightened. She said, no, I'm not married yet. I don't want any child. Otherwise, how can I face people in the society? So the sun god told him, Surya Dev told her, sorry, that, this mantra will not go in vain. You have chanted this mantra, so I'm obliged to give you a son. but there was no physical relationship. Because demigods, they have the potency, by desire, they can create something just by desiring. Now many New Age people also, they talk about it, right? Think positive, think positive. So when you think positive, then you can manifest those results, right?
Manifestation.
Correct. Right. So now it is possible in the human society, then what to speak of in the heavenly planets or demigods. So Surya Dev told her that, I know that you are not married. So the son will be born from your ear, not from the lower organs, reproductive system. The fetus will grow, the baby will grow in the uterus, but when it comes the time of birth, it will be born from your ear. That's why his name was Karna. Karna means ear, right? And your virginity will not be affected. You will still remain virgin. So don't worry about that. So when that assurance was given by Surya Dev, so Mother Kunti was pacified. So then Karna was born to Mother Kunti before marriage. And then she just put Karna in the basket and put him in the river, which was found by Srimati Radhe Devi and her husband, who was the charioteer of King Dhritarashtra. Correct? That's why Karna was known as the charioteer's son. Though he was a Kshatriya, Kunti's son, but because he did not know his true identity, so he was known as charioteer's son, Sutaputra. Then, after marriage, when Kunti got married to Pandu, so once then Kunti, what is the name of other wife of Pandu? Second wife of Pandu? Does anyone know?
It's Madri.
Madhuri, yes. So Madhuri was physically more beautiful. Kunti was more sober and very wise. So both these queens, they went with Pandu to forest. Like, we can say that for retreat or something like that, holidays. So there by mistake, Pandu killed a sage and his wife. The sage and his wife, they, in the disguised form, they were having physical union in the form of deer. So Pandu by mistake killed them. When Pandu shot the arrow, it pierced the chest, completely pierced the chest of that sage, and then hit his wife also. Then they came in the original form, the sage and his wife. Then the sage cursed him. He cursed Pandu, King Pandu, that you killed me when I was going to have my physical relationship with my wife to have progeny, to have a son. You will not be able to have physical union with any of your wives. So Pandu was very much disheartened, very much disappointed, very much upset. He was very angry with himself. So then Durvasa Rishis, this mantra which was given to Mother Kunti shared with King Pandu and told him that she can invite any demigod from the heavenly planets, and that demigod can give a child. So Pandu said, without dharma, without piety, without righteousness, one cannot advance on the spiritual path, and one cannot survive happily, cannot live happily in the material world also. So you invite Dharmaraj. So Dharmaraj came and he gave a son called Yudhishthir. Right? So then after some time, King Pandu told Mother Kunti that, dharma cannot be protected on its own. Because people who are very pious, they are quite self-content. They are in mode of goodness. So they don't want to fight with anyone. If someone tries to, provoke them, instigate them, upset them, they don't mind. So King Pandu told Mother Kunti that, dharma can be protected by strength, physical strength. So that also is must. For protection, we need to have strength. Otherwise, people will climb on our heads. So then I told her to invite Pavan Dev. So Pavan Dev came and he gave a son. His name is Bhima, right? Now it is that Bhima was so strong as soon as Pavan Dev gave to Mother Kunti. So once, Mother Kunti was walking in the forest. So all of a sudden from the bushes, one tiger came. So when she heard the roaring of the tiger, she got quite stunned and quite frightened. So because of that, she dropped Bhima on the ground. So Bhima fell on the big rock. Nothing happened to Bhima, but the rock was broken into small pieces. So Bhima was so strong because he was the son of Pavandev. Then after that, King Pandu was still not satisfied. Then he said, that we have two demigods, the sons are there, but the king of the demigods is Lord Indra. And he's the most opulent in the heavenly planets. He's uh, he has all the virtues, all good qualities. So now you invite him to give you a son. So then she invited Lord Indra. So Lord Indra gave a son. What's his name?
Arjun.
Huh?
Arjun.
Arjun, yes. Arjun. So still, King Pandu was not satisfied. So he asked Kunti to invite some other demigod. Kunti said that a warrior queen, is not supposed to have more than 3 children. So 3 children are enough. Then Madhuri heard that. So Madhuri said, then why don't you help me? You have 3 children. So you also help me to have one child. So Queen Kunti agreed. Then she chanted the mantra. Then she asked Madhuri, you can meditate. Who do you want to give your child? So Madhuri invited 2 Ashwini Kumaras at the same time. So 2 Ashwini Kumaras gave 2 sons, Nakul and Sadev. So this is the way these 5 Pandavas, they were born. There was no physical contact at all. Now see, I'm not sure whether in India you have seen big buildings, you might have seen big housing complexes. Many buildings here in Hong Kong, very common. When you go to the main lobby, when you want to open the door, you don't need to press any button or anything. You just put your hand near the sensor, the light will brighten and the door will open. Right? That means the sensors are so sensitive, without even being touched, the energy flows and that energy helps to open the door. Correct? Many times, I'm not sure whether you have heard about it or not, but I come across many people, especially Indians. They doubt our own Vedic culture a lot. They say, how rishis, sitting for so long in the forest, so at a long distance in the forest, they raise their hand, they bless, and the kings in their kingdom, in their palaces, they get the blessing. How can it be possible? Now we are seeing practically it is happening in Kali Yuga, right? In this material world. It is happening with people like us who are very fallen. We don't have so much spiritual purity, but still our body's energy has that much power to affect the sensor, and the energy flows through the sensor and opens the door. Right? So if it is happening with us, people like us, common people like us, so what to speak of the sages who are so pure? So they can meditate, they can send the blessings from the far distant place, and the person who is meant to receive the blessing will receive. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Sure. Going back to the Shiva's uh, coming into existence. So when you say that he was born from Vishnu's gaze and Durga's, is it pure intention? Was it where did this intent or the intention to create the destroyer, like Shiva
Correct.
is the destroyer in the Trinity? Where did
Very
this
good question.
intention come from?
Yes, very good question. The intention was of Mahavishnu, Karanadaksha Vishnu. As I said, he's the Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. So he had that desire to create material world and populate them with different species of life. So then, see, because of his desire, the universes started coming out from the skin pores. Millions and millions of universes came from his skin pores. Now it is said that the whole material creation, I told you that, in the previous chapters, there are many technical points mentioned about the duration of Brahma's life, duration of Manvantara and all that different manus. Very technical, is mind-blowing information. So the whole material creation, which is sustained for millions and billions and trillions of years, that is only one breath. of Mahavishnu. Only one breath. When he exhales, the material energy creates everything. Everything is manifested. When he inhales, all these material creations, the universes, planets, everything go inside his body and they rest there. So you asked me about the intention. So intention was Mahavishnu's, his desire to create material world.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that also, as I said, he did not come in direct contact with the material energy. Material energy is inferior energy. Mahavishnu is in direct contact with the superior energy, which is in the spiritual world, not in the material world. So the material world, the energy is impregnated by Lord Shiva, Shambhu. And that is the glance of Mahavishnu, glance personified of Mahavishnu.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody has any other point? Any comment?
So the thing what you are saying is that it is not physical or material. So definitely that is the subtle. And as we know, the subtle, the sukshma, is higher than the gross. And
Correct.
we worldly people, we just understand only gross things.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. So see, because, unfortunately, this whole knowledge, we were not allowed to be exposed to this knowledge when we were growing up. Right? So that's why we doubt. We doubt our own Vedic literature. We doubt our sages. And we give so much importance to this modern so-called medical doctors whose knowledge is very limited. They keep on changing their theory day and night. But whatever theories are mentioned in the scriptures, they are intact, no change. Because those scriptures also are eternal. The scriptures are eternal. The knowledge is eternal. Right? So we as Indians, we are very fortunate that we are born in this rich heritage. So it is our duty and our right, both, to take advantage of this. Not only take advantage of ourselves, but we can share with others also. Right? So we were talking about Karna was born from the ear. Now I want to share with you my experience.
Sorry, sir. Can I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
How does one then raise oneself beyond the low energies that we, keep hovering around and raise our energies to the spiritual level?
There are different methods mentioned. If you see in Ashtanga Yoga, there are different breathing techniques, meditations are mentioned, asanas are mentioned. But
Right.
at the gross level, the asanas, then at the subtle level, pranayam, then even at the deeper level, meditation, samadhi. You can reach up to samadhi, right? So that is in the Ashtanga Yoga. In Jnana Yoga, you acquire knowledge, philosophical knowledge. So when you assimilate that knowledge, you will have proper understanding the differences between our gross body and the subtle body. The
Okay.
difference between our Atma and the physical body. Atma is eternal. Physical body is temporary.
Yes.
Right? In one of the sessions I mentioned, many times people in India and Indians outside abroad also, they say that the common thing, what they say, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
No,
That
sir.
means Brahma is Satya, Jagat is Mithya. Mithya means false. People say this
Right.
world is dream. It's like
Illusion,
a
huh?
dream.
Right.
But in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned it is not false. It is true. Its existence is true, right? We are living our life. So we have a life, right? True life. But the thing is that it is temporary. It's not eternal. Physical body keeps on changing. As long as the Atma is residing in the body, it changes. At the cellular level, muscular level, skeletal level, keeps on changing. And when the body becomes useless, the soul transmigrates from one body to another.
Right.
In the same life, it transmigrates from babyhood to childhood, childhood to adulthood, adulthood to old age.
Hmm.
Then after old age, it goes to the other body.
Hmm.
So Atma is eternal. Physical body is temporary, but it is real. It is not false. When we were talking about this topic, I said, supposing I go out and kill somebody and I'm caught. So I'm brought in front of the magistrate or judge. I cannot say it's a dream, It's a false. This whole world is false. You cannot punish me. That argument will not be accepted.
Yeah.
Because really I killed somebody. Right?
Mm.
Yes, it is true, but it is temporary. It's not false.
Oh. Thank you.
Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Any other
So,
point? Anybody else?
Sir, you were telling about the Bhakti Yoga and Gyan Yoga, and which one is the apt or which is apt one for a person at a particular stage, or which is the one that I choose? How to understand that?
Yes, very good.
Whether I should
So,
follow Gyan Yoga or Karma Yoga or something like that. Can you please throw some light
yes,
into?
yes. Thank you for asking this question. Very appropriate, very relevant. So I told you about Ashtanga Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. Then the supermost, the topmost is Bhakti Yoga. When this Bhagvatam started at the Nema Sharanya holy place, when Suta Goswami was asked by Shaunaka Rishi to narrate the whole Bhagavad Katha to them. So they asked the question after Krishna left, Kali Yuga started. So they asked him, after Krishna left, where did Dharma take shelter? Where he started residing after Krishna left. So Suta Goswami gave very wonderful answer. He said that Dharma resides now in Kali Yuga in the holy name of Krishna. So there is no difference between Krishna himself and his holy name. Many times it is said, his name is more powerful than himself. There are some instances mentioned in the scriptures which prove that his holy name is more powerful than himself. One example, when they were constructing the bridge between Rameshwaram and Lanka, so they were putting big rocks, right, in the water. So the rocks were floating on the water. But now here, many people have this misconception that because the monkeys, they wrote the name of Ram on the rocks started floating on the water in the sea. That's not exactly true. Actually, in the monkeys' army, there were two brothers, Nala and Neela. They had a blessing. Actually, the sages actually cursed them because when they were small children, they were very mischievous. So the sages, whenever they would do any yagna or anything, so these both brothers, they would take their paraphernalia, lamp, incense, everything, they will put in the water. So the sages used to feel very disturbed. They had to take out from the water again, clean them, and then start yagna again. So they curse both the brothers that whatever you touch and that object is thrown in the water, it will float on the water. It will not sink in the water. So Nal and Neel, they were touching all the rocks. The monkeys were bringing to them, they were touching and they were throwing. So they were floating. But the problem was, because of the waves of the ocean, they were going here and there. Now to construct the bridge, they had to have proper sequence of the rocks, right? Now, to make the bridge, they started writing the name of Lord Ram, because Lord Ram, he is so disciplined in his life. So the floating rocks also became very disciplined, and they came in the proper row, proper columns in the straight, so they could construct the bridge there. So Lord Rama's name allowed the rocks to get united, disciplined. That could construct the bridge, but not because the name was Lord Ram's name was written and the rocks were floating. So what Lord Ram's did when he saw that, that monkeys are throwing the rocks in the water, let me try. So he took the rock and he threw it in the water. The rock went down at the bottom of the sea. So Lord Ram was surprised. He said, that means monkeys are more powerful than me. And all the rocks are, quite disciplined. So Hanumanji said a very nice thing to Lord Ram. He said, Prabhuji, now I'm saying this in Hindi, it has more effect in Hindi. Prabhuji, जिसको आप छोड़ देते हैं उसको कोई नहीं बचा सकता, उसको कोई नहीं तार सकता है. जो आपके हाथ से छूटा वो गया काम से. So that's why it's, that the Lord Ram's name. Now another incident, again from one section of Ramayana, not original Valmiki Ramayana or Ramcharitmanas by Tulsidas. There are other Ramayana versions were written. So in that one of the versions, it is mentioned there was a war between Lord Ramachandra and Hanuman. Have you ever heard? Lord Ramachandra and Hanuman, they fought.
No.
Can you imagine?
No.
They're fighting with each other.
No.
So what happened, once one king, he committed an offense towards Vishwamitra Rishi. So Vishwamitra Rishi got very angry. So he wanted to punish him. He wanted to give him capital punishment. So Vishwamitra Rishi said, I'm a sage. So I'm not allowed to give you capital punishment. So I will ask my disciple, he's a Kshatriya. Kshatriya has the right to give capital punishment to the citizens. So I'll ask Lord Ramachandra to punish you. So Vishwamitra went to Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra sent a warning letter to the king and told him, you come at this place and fight with me. I will not kill you like that. I will give you full opportunity to fight and fight like a warrior. Then I will kill you like a warrior. So when the king got this letter from Lord Ramachandra, he went and surrendered himself unto Lord Hanuman. So Hanuman, when he saw the king, very pitiful. So he told him, I gave you Abhaydan. I will spare, I will save you, I will protect you. But what's happening? Who is troubling you? So the king gave that letter to Hanuman. Hanuman, when he saw the handwriting, Lord Ramachandra's handwriting, he said, oh my God, now I have to fight with Lord Ramachandra. But he said, never mind. I am the devotee of Lord Ramachandra. He is from Raghukul. And he said, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Aaye, Pran Jai Par Vachan Na Jai. So I also will follow that. I have given my word to this king. So I will give him full protection. Even if I have to fight with my worshipable Lord. So they came to the battlefield. Vishwamitra came, some monkeys came. Bharat, Shatrughan, Lakshman all came. So what happened? Hanuman was not holding any weapon. So Lord Ramachandra said, if you are empty-handed, you're not having any weapon, I cannot attack you. You have to take some weapon. So Hanuman said, you don't worry. You attack me, you shoot your arrow. I have my own way to protect myself. I will protect this king also. So what he did, when Lord Ramachandra was about to shoot arrow, before that, he constructed a room with the bricks. And on each brick, he wrote Lord Ramachandra's name, Ram, 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 Ram. So when Lord Ramachandra was shooting arrows, he could not pierce, he could not break that room of bricks. From morning till evening, Lord Ramachandra could not break, even a single brick. He could not break. So Vishwamitra was witnessing that, watching, and he was smiling. Then he told Lord Ramachandra, because after sunset, they were not supposed to fight. So he went to Lord Ramachandra. He said, now see your devotee. He's so intelligent. And the intelligence, what he has received from you, right? So using that intelligence properly, utilizing that intelligence properly, he's defeated you. Now he has proved to the world that your name is more powerful than you yourself. So Lord Ramachandra's name is more powerful. Lord's name is more powerful. So Suta Goswami said, that Dharma took shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And Krishna appeared in the written form, literary incarnation of Krishna. It is Srimad Bhagvatam. So Srimad Bhagvatam is not different from Krishna. We should respectfully read it, hold it respectfully, and read it sincerely, with full dedication, full concentration, as though we are communicating with Krishna himself. Right? Any last question before we conclude? Any last question or any comment?
Sir, I would like to ask one more thing. Sir, what is actually Taraga Brahma? What is that? I have heard in my childhood, but I do not know what actually it is meant by the word Taraga Brahma. Is there
You're
anything?
talking from the astrology perspective?
No. It's in Kerala or in Adhyatma Ramayana. We are advised to chant Taraga Brahma Mantra.
Now,
So
what is the meaning of Taraka?
that literal meaning stars.
One meaning you can say literal meaning stars, but other meaning is
जो भवसागर से तार दे.
to cross, to cross,
Oh,
right? So the
okay.
mantra which can help us to cross the ocean of material creation, Brahman, you know. So that is called Taraka Brahma, which can help us to cross this ocean of material world. Another meaning of Taraka also means, to understand something at a deeper level. That is Taraka, not Taraka. That is Taraka. T-A-D-A-K, Taraka. Like in Tulsi Ramcharitmanas, there is one chaupai. It says that Shudra Gamar Dor Pashunari Ye Sab Taran Ke Adhikari. Have you heard that chaupai before?
Many times. बहुत
Many times, right?
controversy हुआ इस पे.
It's very controversial. People, because they don't understand the actual meaning of it,
Yeah.
they think that Tulsidas is so discriminating, How can you, like, Dhol, Gamar, Shudra, Pashu, Nari, right? Apparent meaning is 5 different objects and subjects. Ye sab taran ke adhikari. Taran means to beat, right? So they say, how can Tulsidas is suggesting that men should beat their wives, right? Of course, nowadays, nobody can dare to do that. Now the equation is opposite, right? So the thing is that it is said, dhol means drum. Now to create music from a drum, we cannot offer incense, flowers, lamp, and ask pray to drum, please, create some music. No, we have to beat the drum with the stick or with the hand. Then only the music can be created, correct? So dhol is to be beaten up, drum is to be beaten up. Gamar, that means illiterate person. Now Gamar also illiterate person, if somebody tries to beat him up, that person can beat that person again. I mean, in return. He can beat the person, attack the person in self-defense. Because he's Gamar, he's illiterate, right? He won't understand why the person is beating him up. So here, the explanation is given. Tarna means to understand the illiterate person, how to deal with him. Like, Hindi, sometimes we say that मैं उसको पहली बार मैंने उसको देखा तो मैं उसको ताड़ गया, मैं उसको पहचान गया. I could understand that person very well. So that is Tarana. So the illiterate people are to be understood. Their behavior is to be understood. Then have to deal with them accordingly. So Dhol Gawar, Shudra. Shudra means labor class people. Labor class people, they don't understand the sweet words, mode of goodness. They are to be shouted, reprimanded, so that they can work. Otherwise, they can be very lazy. Pashu Nari. Now here they say, these are two together. Pashu is an adjective of Nari. So that means a woman whose nature is like an animal, such a woman should be dealt strictly, not exactly beating. If you read the Manu Samhita, in Manu Samhita, Lord Manu says that even if a woman hits her husband should not hit her back. What to speak of hitting her back with the hand? Even he should not hit her back with the petal of a rose flower. Rose flower petal is so soft. So these kind of instructions are given in Manu Samhita. These things, they were quite misinterpreted by many people to demean our Vedic culture, to show that, so much of discrimination is there. Women, they are exploited. They are treated like slaves. They are not slaves. They are not treated like slaves. In the previous yugas also, they were not treated like slaves. They accepted the position of servitorship, not slavery. Position of servitorship to serve the family members. And they enjoyed doing that. And same quality women have. Now in Kali Yuga also, they enjoy when they serve the family members. So that position they have taken voluntarily. Nobody is forced upon them, that position. So they are not slaves. They are servants of the family.
Question.
Correct? So, Dol Gawa to the Pashu Nari. So, who the women whose nature is like Pashu, they are to be dealt with strictly. But now, more explanation is given at a deeper level. Does anyone know what is the meaning of Nari? Yeah,
नारी बेसिकली नर से उत्पन्न हुई स्त्री को नारी कहा जाता है। नर से उत्पन्न हुई उसको हम नारी कहेंगे। सर, आई वांट टू से और आई वांट टू शेयर वन थिंग।
yeah,
रामचरित्र मानस अवधि में लिखी गई है।
yes,
इसको जो इसका लेखन जो हुआ है वो अवधि में हुआ है।
correct.
तुलसीदास जी ने इसको बहुत सुंदर तरीके से अवधि में लिखा है। जो रामचरितमानस की जो ये पंक्तियां हैं, ढोल पशु शूद्र नारी सब ताड़न के अधिकारी, अगर हम इसको बहुत डिस्क्राइब करेंगे, बहुत सुंदर तरीके से डिस्क्राइब करेंगे, यहाँ पर अवधि में ताड़न का अर्थ होता है वॉच, देखना, किसी चीज
Yeah,
का ख्याल रखना, किसी
correct,
चीज
correct.
को
Very careful.
बहुत
Yes,
संभाल के रखना। इसका
yes.
ताड़न का मतलब यहाँ पर ये है। ताड़न का दूसरा अर्थ भी होता है जिसके अंदर किसी को डांटना, डपटना। और तीसरा अर्थ होता है ताड़न का कि आप किसी को पीट रहे हैं, मार रहे हैं। लेकिन अवधि में ताड़न का अर्थ होता है किसी को बहुत ध्यान से रखना, संभाल के रखना। तो ये जो चार वर्ग दिए गए हैं कि ढोल, शूद्र, पशु और नारी, ये सब ताड़न के अधिकारी। ताड़न मतलब जिनको बहुत ख्याल से रखना है, बहुत संभाल के रखना है। ये अवधि भाषा का एक बहुत सुंदर अर्थ है। तो मुझे लगा कि आज मैं इसको थोड़ा
Very good.
सा
Very
बता
good.
दूं।
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Now, since you raised this point, I would go a little further. See, now when Tulsidas wrote this Chopai, Dhol Gavaru Shudra Pashunari, right? When we count, there are 5 things, right? Dhol Gavaru Shudra Pashunari, correct? ये सब ताड़न के अधिकारी. Now, he could have written ये पांचों ताड़न के अधिकारी. He did not say that, correct? Because he wanted people to churn their intelligence, their mind, to find out the actual meaning, what Tulsidas ji is implying here. Now, when we say that Shudra is the adjective of Nari, then also 4, right? So he could have said, ye charo taran ke adhikari. He did not say that. So now further I want to share, about Nari, what I was asking. Nari, one of the meaning, in simple way I say that, the enemy of Nar, enemy of man, is called Nari. Now here, not the physical form of Nari I'm talking about. What is the enemy? Who is the enemy of Nar? Who is the enemy of man?
Man
Anyone?
himself.
Sorry?
Man himself.
Is
Our
ahankar.
desires, our desires. Trishna, correct? So desires, our इच्छाएं, हमारी जो इच्छाएं हैं, तृष्णाएं हैं. So these are feminine, right? Desires are feminine. So these are the enemies of men. When men, they want to run after the fulfilling their desires, their family members' desires and all that, they forget, they deviate from the spiritual path, and they have to go in the cycle of birth and death again and again, right? So Tulsidas is not saying that, one should tad kamini. He's saying one should tar kamana. That means you understand your desire. Whatever desire is appropriate, which cannot create an obstacle on your spiritual growth, spiritual progress, you can fulfill those desires. But the desires which can be very harmful for you spiritually, then they can be materially harmful also. You should not run after them. You should understand what kind of desires you have. So those desires, unwanted desires which we have, those are the actual enemies of men. So Tulsidas is saying like that. And now, some people may say, some men, they may object, why he's sparing women, because women also have desires, right? But if you see, women, particularly in Kali Yuga, if you've seen, that they are more inclined to spirituality compared to men. Even if you go for yoga classes, 80-90% of the students doing yoga exercises, they are women, they're girls. Because they have natural attraction to bhakti, to spirituality. So Tulsidas is not worried so much about women. In the wedding ceremony, one part of the wedding ceremony, in the Vivav Samskara, it is said Sindhur Dan, right? Have you heard that? Women?
Pardon, sir.
In
Pardon,
the
please.
Vivav Samskara, one part of the Samskara is Sindhur Dan, putting the mang,
Yes.
mang bharo.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
This is very scientific. Because Sindhur, if you check the properties of Sindhur, Sindhur is combination of mercury and sulfur. So when the mercury and sulfur, they are combined and they are applied externally, they help to control the mind, they pacify the mind. So the Sindur is put from going from this Agna Chakra, from Agna Chakra towards the Sahasrara Chakra. That means the energy flow of the desires, going upwards to the crown chakra. And Sindur will pacify. So it is said, sometimes when I do the Vivav Sanskara ceremony, when I perform for couples, then I say, women whose उनकी मांग भरी होती है, तो आगे चल के इतनी मांगे नहीं करती अपने पति से. उनकी मांग भरी रहेगी तो वो अपनी मांगे पूरी करने के लिए पति को नहीं कहेंगी. But nowadays, women, they don't do it. That's why they have so many desires. They ask, this, I want that. उनकी मांगे कभी पूरी नहीं होती. तो फिर मैं पुरुषों को कहता हूँ, आपको एकदम सरल उपाय बताता हूँ कि आप मांग भर दो, तो उनकी मांगे पूरी हो जाएंगी.
वाह,
नाइस
रेमेडी है ये.
Yes, natural remedy.
नेचुरल रेमेडी.
Yes.
क्या
And
बात.
see,
पुराने
about
जमाने
Sindhu,
में यस लेडीज का पूरा इसमें
हाँ,
डरा रहता था.
मांग भरते
दे
थे.
वर ऑल अबाउट देयर ड्यूटीज. उनको ये पता है मेरे को ये काम करना है, ये काम करना है. उन्हें क्या चाहिए, नो डिजायर. लाइक हमारी मदर और उस समय का जो
करेक्ट, हमारी मदर भी. करेक्ट.
यस
and see, as I said, the simple things what we see in our Vedic culture, there is so much scientific meaning behind, logical meaning behind. As I said, the hand should go from lower part, from the forehead to the crown chakra, not other way down. It should not come down. It should go upwards. That means allow the flow from Agna chakra to crown chakra, to Sahasrara chakra. Very scientific. So same Sindhu, if it is consumed orally, it can agitate one's mind.
सेम सिंदूर इफ इट इज कंज्यूम्ड ओरली.
Yes.
तो खाया जाता है सिंदूर क्या?
हाँ, सिंदूर आयुर्वेद में दवाई है, सिंदूर, रस सिंदूर करके.
अच्छा.
हाँ.
तो वो खाने से एजिटेशन होता है.
Correct.
क्या बात है.
It is a cure for many heart diseases, like weakness of the reproductive system. It works quite well.
Oh, okay.
Now see, because Sindoor has that property, when it is applied externally, it pacifies the mind. Hanuman smears Sindoor on his body because he doesn't want his mind to be agitated and then disturbed by other desires, so that he can concentrate on Lord Ramachandra Seva. See, so many things we can learn from our scriptures. They are so scientific, so logical, so sublime. And even same sindoor is offered to Lord Ganesha also, right? Mixed with oil and apply on Ganesha, especially on Tuesdays, to pacify his mind. That's why Ganesha should not say in that way, but that's a fact. Ganesha is more intelligent than his older brother Kartikeya, right? Because his mind is well settled because of applying sindoor. His mind doesn't get agitated, so he can think clearly, think straight. When our mind is agitated, we cannot think straight. We cannot think clearly.
So that is also the reason कि हम यहाँ बिंदी apply करते हैं. मतलब we also put a bindi ना.
हाँ, यहाँ पे जो बिंदी है either of चंदन or saffron.
Sorry? Saffron.
हाँ, केसर.
केसर.
हाँ.
केसर या चंदन की होनी चाहिए यहाँ पे.
Yes. To keep the Agna Chakra active. So all these simple things, which are mentioned in our scriptures, they have scientific reasons. These sages, rishis, they were great scientists. Their scientific knowledge was much, much far, beyond this, the limits of the knowledge we see in the modern scientists. Okay.
Super.
By Krishna's mercy, I was not bothered by cough.
Yes.
No cough at all. Went everything smoothly.
वही तो है ना विनोद जी, जब आप बोलते हैं ना तो आप कृष्णा के साथ ही जुड़े रहते हैं, इसीलिए फिजिकल डिस्टरबेंस होता नहीं है.
ये भगवान की कृपा है. हाँ, भगवान की कृपा है.
ईश्वर की कृपा है. चलिए.
Yes.
वेरी नाइस सेशन, मजा आ गया.
बहुत मजा आया. वेरी नाइस.
एंड वेरी गुड क्वेश्चंस आल्सो.
Yes. Thank you.
तो मेरा एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन है.
लास्ट क्वेश्चन है प्रियंका, हमारी क्वेश्चनिंग.
हाँ, बोलिए.
So, I have been pondering over this. I've been to once or twice, वो जो 7 दिन की कथा होती है भागवत की, I take my mom every year and I sit through the katha and I listen to the Bhagavad very intently.
Yeah.
And so this time I didn't go. And so I was very interested when this, this session was happening because I wanted to understand more. I wanted to get more perspective. So, I always come back from the kathas feeling that there's a lot of intelligence and there is a lot of explanation of how to lead your life and many other things that I bring back. But मेरे दिमाग में एक थोड़ा सा unrest रहता है कि it feels like Bhagavad is written by men for men. It's a dialogue between men, and the take back for women in the Bhagavad is to be of service to your husband. Yeah. And that is the only way to moksha. That is the one way. So for somebody like me who did not choose the marital path in life, I'm not married. What is my path towards moksha? I always come back feeling a little like, not getting that answer from the most intelligent scripture that exists.
Now, first I want to very humbly correct you, Priyanka ji. This Bhagavad was spoken by not an ordinary person. He was not ordinary person like we are. He's called Avadhuta, Paramahamsa. That means he transcended himself from the material world, the modes of material nature. Even Sattva Guna also could not bother him. 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So he was beyond the influence of these 3 gunas. And that was Shukadev Goswami. And he was the son of Vyasadeva. Now, he stayed in his mother's womb for 16 years. He didn't want to come out because he told his father, if I come out, the material energy is so strong, it will affect me. Then I will, my spiritual path, I will get deviated from that. So I don't want to come out. Then Vyasadeva requested Krishna, and Krishna assured him that when you come out, you will not be affected at all. So please come out. So he came out from the womb of a mother. Now you can understand the person had so much of power to stay within the womb of his mother for 16 years. Have you ever heard anybody staying in the womb of his mother for that long? Maximum 10 months, right? But
Right,
he said,
absolutely.
that
So
means
he
from
came
this you
out
can
fully
understand.
developed.
Sorry?
So he possibly came out fully developed
Fully
spiritually.
developed. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
He was an
right,
adult. I mean,
right,
teenager, 16 years.
right.
So as soon as he came out, now on this, what I was going to say, we can understand how powerful he was, that he could stay in the womb. Normally, after 9 months or 10 months, the Apana Vayu, in Ayurveda it is mentioned, it becomes so strong, it pushes the baby out. Baby cannot stay there longer. Apana Vayu will not allow the baby to stay longer. That means Shukadeva Goswami had good control on the Apana Vayu in his mother's womb. That's why he could stay there. So when he was born, immediately he ran to the forest in that naked form. He did not wear any clothes because he was not bothered at all. For him, there was no difference between men and women. He transcended that material energy. So when he was running, Vyasadeva started following him, chasing him, to calling him, please come back, please come back. So when they were running, both of them, they were running, Shukadeva Goswami in front and Vyasadeva behind him. They passed by one river. So there, some young yoginis, they were taking bath. So when Shukadeva Goswami ran from there, passed from there, they did not bother. But when Vyasadeva came, they started covering their body. So Vyasadeva said, why that discrimination? My son, he's a teenager and so beautiful, so handsome. You did not bother to cover your body when he was passing by. And then I'm like your grandfather, right? So the lady said, Yoginis told him that, you are a Grihastha. You can differentiate between men and women. Your son is transcendental. He's Avaduta. He's Paramhamsa. For him, there is no difference between men's body and a women's body. So then Vyasadeva thought of a way to bring his son back. He asked one of his disciples to chant one shloka from Bhagvatam. In that shloka, the meaning of that is, when Putana went to kill Krishna, baby Krishna, she smeared the poison around her breast and she went in the pretext of breastfeeding him. So Krishna killed her, right? That we know, right? Krishna killed Putana. But after killing her, he gave the same position to Putana like that of Yashodamai, like his mother, because he focused on Putana's service attitude, that she came to feed me, her milk, breastfeed me. So when Shukadeva Goswami heard that, what kind of person he is? Somebody goes to kill him, smearing poison on her breast, breastfeeding him, and after killing her, he's giving the same position to her like her mother, his mother. I should know more about this person. Then he came back. Then he learned the whole Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva. See, now I'm talking to you about this and I'm getting goosebumps because these things were not spoken by ordinary people. Vyasadeva is incarnation of Krishna. So he compiled the Vedic knowledge, Vedic information, because he knew in Kali Yuga, people's memory will be very poor. Before, in Gurukul, what the Guru would say, the disciples would hear, his Shishyas would hear, and it would stay in their memory for a long time. Now it's not possible. Many times what we have for breakfast in the morning, in the evening, we don't remember what we had. In Kali Yuga, our memory is very poor. So that's why Krishna wanted everything to be in the written form. So he came in the form of Vyasadeva and he wrote all the literature. So Shukadeva Goswami, first he spoke Bhagavatam to Parishit Maharaj, who was going to die in 7 days. This is the reason they do the katha for 7 days, right? Initially, that was a plan. When Varsha ji and Dr. Ji, they were asking me to do for 7 days. I said, sorry, I cannot do it 7 days. Bhagavatam is so vast, I cannot complete it 7 days. I need longer time. And now, how long we have been doing this, Shakuntala ji? Tripti ji?
I think three years maybe easily, and this is the 29th session of
Yeah.
Bhagavatam.
And each session is approximately 1.5 to 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And now we are only doing third canto. Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, 12 skand. Now, we have not completed the third canto yet. Tripti ji also is there, right? So we have not completed the third canto yet. And 2.5 years already gone. So you can imagine that, to complete the whole Bhagavatam. See, now, no offense to anyone. It is done, after somebody passes away after 12 months, this thing is done. And it is good, it is done. Even if it for 1 week they do it, people, they do go and to listen to the katha. That also is very good. But what scriptures tell us, we should not only read the scriptures, we should study them, we should churn them, we should scrutinize them and understand them. And after understanding, after having proper understanding, then we need to implement the instructions, the lessons given in the scriptures. Otherwise, just if we read like a mere book, then it doesn't have like effect. That's why people, when they go to so many places, so many times they hear the katha, 7 days and all that. But if we see their life, there is no so much transformation. I won't say in case of everybody, but most of them, there is no real change. There is no transformation. Because most of the people, they do this katha as a profession. Many priests, the speakers, who give discourses, it is their profession. And they earn their livelihood by doing this katha. So even, I don't want to discourage them. I don't want to say they should not do it. By all means, they do it. But if they can just, go a little further, go at the deeper level, and try to bring real change in their lives and people's lives also, then, the objective is, the goal is achieved.
So
Right?
yes, thank you so much for the answer. I was wondering if I wanted to study the Bhagavad, what would be a good starting point? Is it the Navneet Bhagavad, or because I get stuck with the language of it's very difficult to understand. Some words are very difficult.
I think I have shared the link
Okay.
to Srimad
Veda-based.
Bhagavatam.
Veda-based.
Yeah, Veda base.
Yeah.
You on Google search, you write Srimad Bhagavatam Veda base.
Veda base. Okay.
VEDA-BASE, Veda base.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can
Easily it comes, and I have
So-
shared it in the chat also.
So, you should, when you start eating, you
Veda-based.
should keep
It
a
is in
notebook with you.
English.
You should make notes.
Yes.
You should make notes. That's the proper way to study the scriptures.
Yes. That's my take back. I'm going to study it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking that question.
And link is shared in the chat. Please check.
Thank
Yeah.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Sir, and you are giving us the significance of chanting the Nama or Japa of in this Kali Yuga.
Yes. That's the Yuga Dharma. Each Yuga has its own Dharma. Like in Satya Yuga, it was meditation. In Treta Yuga, it was Yagna, performing Yagnas. And in Dwapar Yuga, Murti Puja, temple service. And in Kali Yuga, Nam Jap, Hari Nam Sankirtan.
Thank you, sir.
So when we follow the Yuga Dharma, then it can help us a lot. It can help us to evolve spiritually. There is no need to do big yagnas, because nowadays, the samagri, the yagna samagri is not pure. People, they do not chant the mantras properly. The ceremony is not done in a proper way. I think in one of the sessions I mentioned in Hong Kong, it is so kind of, I should use the word disgusting, disgusting to see the priests, they're using aluminum foil trays to do yagna. Now, aluminum, it's not a proper metal from the earth. It's very impure substance. Now, sometimes when I see like this, I tell them, how can you do that? And then they wonder, after doing yagnas regularly and all that, we don't benefit and all that. Of course, if the way you are doing is not correct, you are being offensive towards Agni Dev. When we invite any guests also to our house, we make sure that the sitting arrangement is properly made. Now we are inviting Agni Dev and asking him to sit in the aluminum foil. How will he feel? At least some proper copper kunda has to be there. So, like many Indians, they have this kind of mindset is not right. Actually, it is very offensive. Sab chalta hai, sab chalta hai. So yes, सब चलता है, तो फिर वो जब भी आपको आशीर्वाद नहीं देता, वो भी चलता है ना. So in Karma Kanda section, the procedure, the process is very significant. The chanting of the mantras, the proper meter of the mantras to be chanted. But in Bhakti Yoga, there is no such restriction. Devotees, they are like small children. You know, small babies, when they're hungry, they don't ask mother, I'm hungry, give me rice, give me dal, give me roti, give me sabji. They just say, ah, and mother understands what the child wants. Right? So devotees, they are like innocent children. So whether we chant Krishna's names properly or not, Krishna will listen. Krishna will reciprocate. That's the beauty of bhakti. That's the advantage of bhakti. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Is that okay, Srija ji?
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for
Thank you so much.
being interactive, attentive.
बहुत ही सुंदर सेशन था विनोद जी।
और हेल्थ ठीक नहीं होने के बावजूद
नहीं, आप
एक्चुअली मैंने कहा ना, मेरी वाइफ मुझे कह रही थी कि आप कैंसिल कर दो। अभी 3-4 बार वो आई रूम में देखने के लिए।
आप ठीक ही है। तभी जब मैंने आपको देखा, मैंने कहा आपने अपने बाल ट्रिम किए, आपने टी शर्ट आज पहली बार पहना है। you were looking more young than before. इसका मतलब आप ठीक ही हो गए।
तो जब भी बीमार होता हूँ तो यंगर लगूंगा मैं अभी।
और फिर कोई अपना मनपसंद काम कर ले तो हो गया। तो अब तो
टी शर्ट है ना, जरा ठीक है, तो बुखार में थोड़ा।
Thank you so much, Vinod ji. Hare Krishna and Hare Krishna to everybody.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna,
much.
Tripti ji.
Asking questions. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
हरे कृष्णा वर्षा जी, आप अभी आई क्या?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Actually,